Hello, everyone. Welcome to another DCember. This is the second one of the Arrow reviews we're doing, which joining me for Arrow Season 2 is The Fallen Angel
Hello.
and Marcus Shadow.
Hello.
And we're going to go a little loose and stuff like we did with Arrow Season 1. So, first of all, to go with the overarching plot of Season 2. But I will warn people, like I put in the description, this will contain spoilers. But, yeah. The overarching plot of Season 2 is basically Deathstroke has come to Oliver's City, who was slayed on the island with him. After a certain event happens, he decides he wants to now murder Oliver and make him suffer, and the whole series builds up with that. But what did you think of Season 2's overall plot, Fallen Angel?
I thought it was really well done. With the episode count that they had, which I believe was 23, they managed to fit that story in really well and cover a lot of things, especially with the flashbacks intertwined into the show. To cover everything I felt they needed to cover, and they did cover. Building, of course, to the final episode of the season, which brought it all to an end. Or so you think.
Yep. I will say I like the overarching story. My only complaint with the story is at times it got a little too cartoonish. Because like Slade was an interesting character on season 1 on the island. He was an interesting character in season 2, but at a certain point he stopped being, yeah, I'm gonna make you pay for this, and it just felt more like a Saturday morning cartoon villain of, I'm just gonna do evil things because I'm evil. Wah! And it's like, you went too cartoonish with him, with the Miracle or whatever
Yeah,
it's called.
I think they might have done that a little bit, but I don't think they went over the top with it. Because when it came down to the fight scenes, they were done perfectly.
They were. They were. Like I said, the overall story of season 2, and we can also talk about little characters and stuff like that at the same time, because, like I said, that was just a starting point, and this is all free and
Yep.
stuff. Is basically, in season 2, my main problems were, like I said, Deathstroke became too cartoonish near the end. I hated Scarecrow, sorry, I mean Brother Blood, and I did not like the Canary.
No, I don't think
Yeah.
many people like the Canary, because a lot of people tended to ship Olicity, which is yeah. Um,
Yeah, that's another thing I
but
hated in this
her
season.
being black, but her being Black Canary, um, I just didn't like it. She's not, even though she was technically called Black Canary, she was just the Canary, which is probably better, because other people might be called the Black Canary in the future.
Yeah, but the thing with that, that would have made sense of, okay, she's just called a Canary because she's not going to turn into the Black Canary. Except for, where in the show does Oliver call himself the Green Arrow? He's just the Arrow. So it felt like they were stripping down her name to the exact same way they did with Arrows, of just removed the colour. And I'm like,
Yeah,
no. Now, I know in season 3, Laurel will become Black Canary. We've seen pictures of her and stuff, cool. But for season 2, I was like, I don't like that.
mm. It'll be also interesting to see how she actually gets the power, or if it's just going to be like her sister and she uses those shitty devices.
I'm hoping she gets some sort of power or something, because they have introduced powers into this universe with season 2, so it's like, they could do it. Which, that's something else
Yeah.
which hurt this season a little bit, is they decided to keep Flash till Flash season 1. However, by the
Yeah.
end of the episode, there's one episode where they're meeting the people who are going to be his supporting characters and stuff, and you actually felt like this episode should have been Barry waking up, but then they changed their mind at the last second. I felt that watching it, and I found out later that that was actually the case, and I'm like, oh, no wonder that just felt off, like he should have woke up. It also makes Felicity
Yeah.
look like shit as well, because he's in a coma all this time. She hits on Oliver. She even wants to go on a date with Oliver. Then eventually, when she turns up in Flash, she's like, "Why didn't you let me know? I thought we were supposed to be together." And it's like, really? When he was interested in someone else, you thought you were supposed to be together? Really? Then why were you doing this? I don't like how much they've used Felicity. I don't like that. I also don't like the shipping of her and Oliver, which started in season 2 and has gone into season 3 a lot more. I don't like it. They shouldn't be together. They don't fit. It's like, oh, fans have started to ship them together because they're an idealized Mary Sue couple. I don't care. I don't want that.
Yeah. Definitely.
But I believe Marcus had stuff to say about the Canary.
Yeah, in the comics, wasn't Dinah Lance actually the original Black Canary, and wasn't she the one that was actually with Oliver?
Yep. I know which one you're on about, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, which is Laurel in there.
I'm like, I didn't like that when she showed up and she's like, I'm the Canary and I have fake powers and I don't give a shit about Oliver. I'm like, wait, so you completely changed the character of Dinah Lance? Fuck you.
It wasn't her character.
Not really, because
it wasn't her character. It was her. Yeah. Laurel is her. This is Laurel's sister.
I know, but they call her, but they made Dinah the non-Canary when Dinah is supposed to be the Black Canary, and I'm like, I don't like the fact that you basically asked out Dinah Lance. I'm like, no, fuck that. Dinah Lance should be the Black Canary.
Yeah, she does become the Black Canary in season 3.
I thought Laurel becomes the Black Canary.
They're the same person.
Yeah, her middle name is Laurel.
Oh. Then who was the Canary then? Because I thought that was Dinah.
No, the Canary on this was her sister.
Ah, okay. Well, that was kind of stupid because it's like cock tease. I'm like, and she's got fake powers. I'm like, wait, so you're gonna completely screw the Black Canary? That's awesome. Then Laurel shows up and it's like, oh, okay, maybe not.
Yeah. Now they did do some stuff right in season 2 as well. Like, I loved the Count returning. I loved the Count. I did not like the second Count, which is closer to New 52 Count, which I understand why they did that. The first Count they got wasn't exactly like original Count either. He was unique in that he was crafted perfectly for this world. And then they got rid of him and brought in someone else who took up the same mantle. And I'm like, he wasn't as good. I like the over the top.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead and finish.
I was just saying, I like the over-the-top, like, flamboyant Count, not the more reserved old man Count, no.
Yeah. I was saying, based on what you've told me, it sounds like they did the villains really well. And like you said, I hope Dinah gets powers. I mean, it was kind of clever what they did with the fake powers, but I'm like, no, she's actually going to be the Black Canary. She has to have powers. Come on.
Yep.
So I hope they do that. I hope they start shipping them because, yeah, I have to agree with you. It's like, no, Dinah needs to be the one with Ollie. It has to be Dinah. If you have her in the series, it has to be her.
I agree. I agree. That's what I was talking about. I was like, I want to see him get with Laurel. I need him to be with Laurel. But apparently, some people watching the show don't like Laurel, and therefore they haven't focused on their love as much. They've put him with other people, and I'm like,
It'd be like making Superman put Lois Lane in there and not put Lois Lane with Superman. Cough, Smallville, cough.
To be fair, have you even read Superman comics? In Smallville, he was supposed to be with Lana Lang until he got to Metropolis. Cough.
Yeah, but the fact that they put Lois in the series, it's kind of weird because, yeah, technically in the comics he doesn't even meet Lois until he's an adult and he's at the Daily Planet, but the fact that they put her in the series, it's like, if you put her in the series, you're kind of obligated to put them together.
You are, but with the Smallville one, they actually had the excuse of it was Smallville for a lot of it, so he wasn't even Superman. He's supposed to be with
True.
her once he's Superman. So I'm like, okay. And they did build
True.
up their relationship fairly well in the last series or so. But yeah, with this, yeah, he should be with Laurel, and it's like I don't like putting him with all the other people. Like, oh, the crap people watching it don't really like Laurel, so they're going, okay, fine, I put him with Felicity. I don't like Felicity.
Mm-hmm.
She was okay in small doses, but they've overdone her.
Yeah, but then I think also that Laurel is going really well with Ted Grant at the moment. So
Yep. This season.
Also, I hope when she finally becomes the Black Canary, I hope she has the classic outfit, as over-sexualized as it is. To me, that's the Black Canary, and that will always be the Black Canary, that look.
She doesn't.
Oh.
It's the same thing with Green Arrow in the series. He has a more realistic version of his outfit.
not a copy.
Just fine. I'm just saying, like, I hope she has like the fishnets and stuff, because to me, Black Canary is all about black leather, fishnets, and the mask.
She has like all buckles and stuff. It looks awesome. Her costume does look pretty cool, though. I will admit.
Fair enough. I haven't seen the costume, so fair enough.
You just need to look it up.
Yeah, it does look pretty cool, but yeah, I hope she gets the scream, but
yes, she has to have that.
It was a case of they did some stuff really good in this series. Like this season is the one they introduced the League of Assassins.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they gave her the mask. Okay, cool. That does look awesome. Holy crap! Wow. Okay, yeah, that's Black Canary. Give her the damn scream.
Yeah, and like I said, this one introduced the League of Assassins, which is awesome. And I like
Nisa Al Ghul.
I like them. I don't like him going against Raish in season 3. I don't want Raish introduced as much because Black Canary and Oliver Queen did have basically a connection to League of Shadows when they went into his city and stuff, but never with Raish, and I don't like that. But it could work. But yeah.
Or have you seen the spoilers at all for the mid-season finale? Because I know I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it yet, but I've seen that he faces him, and that was all I've seen. I didn't want to see more, but it's a case of I was like, but I will say with the thing of Deathstroke as well, with Deathstroke in this, they did Deathstroke really well. Besides the making cartoony later on.
I think they picked probably the best person they could have chosen to portray Deathstroke.
They did. He is awesome. I also love, this is the first live-action adaptation we've seen where he's definitely got the anti-hero approach, like I had mentioned in Series 1. Series 2, he's more the villain, but when he becomes a villain, his outfit changes to more like the Teen Titans armored look. So they have both versions of him in there. I'm like, that's kind of cool. As well as that, we actually see him lose the eye.
Yep. You know, I have to ask, with Black Canary, I don't recall, and I didn't really follow the comics that much, but I don't recall her ever having a quarterstaff.
They probably I think she used a weapon at one point, but they've given her the weapon just so she has something to fight because she's not martial arts trained.
Right. Yeah, I think she's had weapons. I just don't recall her using stuff. She might have. I haven't followed a lot, but I kind of recall her not having a weapon that large. Primarily because her primary weapon is her mouth. She uses a scream most of the time and then punches people in the face when they're stunned.
But
fair enough.
The character I hated this season was Brother Blood.
He sounded terrible.
He looked fucking horrible.
The freaking where is he? The guy became mayor, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was just reading about him. He was too much of a pawn in the game.
I also didn't like his
Like,
look.
But I think season 2 was filled with a lot of good episodes, though. My favorite, most definitely being where Oliver and Thea's mother was murdered, because that shit was awesome.
I kind of liked that, but I also kind of didn't, because that went into the whole cartoonish part of Deathstroke at that point, because I know why he was doing it, but it felt too evil for what he was supposed to be. It also it felt like, oh, okay, last season Tommy died, this season she died. Season 3, we know Canary dies, and I'm guessing by the end of the season someone else will die. And it's like, we don't need to see someone die at the end of every season. Or near the end of every season.
It won't be near the end, I can tell you that.
To be fair, how do you know we won't see someone die near the end? Because the end hasn't shown yet. Hello? Marcus?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So did we just lose Fallen Angel?
Did we? Let me see. We did.
Yeah, we did. Fair enough. Did you see the picture I posted? I posted your picture.
Oh, it is an image. Okay, let's see.
I give to your brother blood. What the?
Yeah, that's Scarecrow.
Yeah, that's Scarecrow from Batman Begins.
What did they?
He was a guy in a suit who was running for mayor, and basically, at certain points, he'd put the mask on when he was intimidating people to scare them, or to make them like give in to him and stuff like that. He felt like Scarecrow. He felt like they just used Brother Blood as Scarecrow. I did not like that.
From Batman Begins, yeah.
Yeah, and welcome back, Fallen Angel. But I said to you, Fallen Angel, I said to you, how did you know we won't see someone die near the end of season 3 when the ending hasn't aired yet? So if someone else has died by now, someone else could always die near the end as well because it hasn't aired.
I suppose there'll be more than one death within the next however many episodes.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't like that, because the first death with Tommy's death in season 1, okay, cool, it inspired him. Then when his mother died, I'm like, you're just gonna keep doing this. It's like even the flashback to the island felt, by the end of season 2, they felt like they were running out of ideas. Hence why season 3, he wasn't on the island for 5 years. He was in Hong Kong.
Yeah, with Amanda Waller.
Yeah, but it's like he was supposed to. That you've established up till now, he's been on the island for 5 years, like he was supposed to. Now you're saying, he got off and went to Hong Kong.
So what are they going to do once they reach the end of season 5? Because that'll be 5 years.
It will.
No more flashbacks.
Which would be good.
But on that topic, what do you think of the actress that plays Amanda Waller?
I liked her.
And how she's portrayed.
I liked her. And like I said, I believed it was season 2 as well, because I believe when I spoke to Richter, he hadn't seen it when we recorded season 1. I loved the Suicide Squad episode.
Yes. Which included, but not limited to, Shrapnel, Deathshot, Bronze Tiger, and a laughing Harley Quinn.
I did not like the Harley Quinn cameo, or it was better than the deleted cameo, but which you can check out on YouTube, people, or on the DVDs and stuff like that. The deleted Harley Quinn scene is fucking terrible. The actual one, I'm like, we didn't really need to see a Harley Quinn tease at this point.
But apparently she's no longer around, so...
Yeah, so either she died or got out. But But yeah, season 2, it did a lot of stuff. Like season 2, one of the things they did well in season 2 was because Tommy in season 1 died, with saying how much of a murderer Oliver was. In season 2, he tries not to kill as best he can, and he starts to use more to trick arrows, and that's awesome.
It is most definitely like the ones that will tie his opponent up, or ones that will knock them out, or just trank darts even.
Yeah, in one episode he got a punching glove. He got the
I
boxing
believe
glove.
that was season 3, wasn't it?
I can't remember. One of them he has had the boxing glove. A few of them he's had the rope. He's had explosive arrows. He's he's had loads, and they're like I kind of like them
Yeah,
because
definitely.
he's slowly
And I
becoming
think
the Green Arrow we know, and I like that.
yeah, I believe the boxing glove arrow was episode 4 or 5 of season 3 against Tim Grant.
Actually, yeah, it might have been, yeah. And I'm like, it's still awesome though. But season 2 also led to the cop who I can't stand, Laurel's dad, basically becoming Arrow's right hand guy, and then eventually leading to, I think that was either at the end of season 2 or the beginning of season 3, it leads to him becoming the police chief in charge and disbanding the
Yes.
group against the Arrow, so he's come to accept him at this point.
Yes.
Season 2 is also the one in which Roy becomes the sidekick properly,
Awesome.
which I don't like.
Neither he needs to be Red Arrow.
No, I don't like that because, okay, he's been called Arsenal before, yes, but as I mentioned to QJ, and I don't know if Marcus would agree with this, but he started as Speedy. And yeah, they've used the nickname for his sister in this show. Ha, I see what you did there. But have him as Speedy. He needs the name. It's like if you were to do a Batman series and he gets Dick Grayson and he goes straight to fucking Nightwing with no Robin in between.
Well, did you see the joke in the cross episode?
I did.
Yeah, whether they thought he was Speedy. That was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
I laughed when they said, "Who? Him? No, Flash."
Yep. Which, like I said, I don't like that because, like I mentioned, they skipped his name and then they're just taking the piss out of people who would rather have the original proper name. That's basically
Yeah.
like DMC, where it's like, oh look, now he's taking the piss out the white hair. Right, bravo. But we wanted the white hair.
Yeah.
Yep,
So,
I agree.
what was your least favorite episode of the season?
Ooh. Probably I think it would have been a Christmas episode. Probably the Christmas episode where he's seeing all the ghosts of like Shadow and stuff.
The 3 ghosts.
Yeah, and by the ghost of Shadow, I don't mean you died, Marcus. There was an Asian woman called Shadow on the show.
Fair enough.
Yeah, 3 ghosts, episode 9.
Yep. And
when Barry was around.
Yeah, the way she dies is basically Oliver gets a choice on who he gets to save, her or the one who eventually becomes the Canary, as you saw. And he chose the Canary, and the villain puts a bullet in Shadow's head. Shadow loved Oliver, but Slade Wilson was in love with Shadow, and that's what sets him off to become a villain because he now blames Oliver for not choosing her.
It was Dr. Ivo.
Yeah. Which it was an interesting way to do it, and it was an interesting thing of he now wears her hood in honor.
Yeah, and that's also the episode where Barry is hit by the lightning.
Fair enough.
and it was the mid-season finale. So
The three ghosts.
yes.
Yeah, I did not like that. I didn't like that episode because it felt really forced, having to try and get him to do. Oh look, now he's talking to all the ghosts, and and then Roy's locked in the room, so no one will see Oliver interact with these ghosts, and it's like, I felt kind of forced. It felt like it was supposed to be a Christmas episode because they called it the Three Spirits and stuff, or whatever they called it. I thought, it's like the Three Ghosts of Christmas, but it obviously in a completely unrelated, weird way. But I don't know. I didn't like that episode. But how about you? What was your worst episode?
I'm not really too certain. I think the worst episode might have been Tremors, which is episode 12, where Ben Turner escapes from prison. He gets paid $10 million to steal a prototype of Malcolm Merlin's earthquake device, and the episode's pretty boring. It's pretty much Arrow trying to teach Roy self-control with his water bowl, and a little bit of Suicide Squad stuff, and the flashbacks weren't all the best either.
Yep. And I will say, once the series has aired, Fallen Angel,
yes.
Would you like to join me on the mole hole, since Jim has given us free reign over this show and stuff, to review Arrow Season 3 and Flash Season 1? Like, when I've caught up, because I know I'm a couple of weeks behind you or whatever.
Yeah, well, we're on hiatus now, so...
Yay. But yeah, I meant when the series is fully finished. Did you want to do Season 3 and Season 1? And just keep this going every year, because that'd be fun. But because I do want to talk about how much this season led into something I fucking hate with Season 3, which is fear. I still hate that.
So now you've almost pretty much caught up. What do you think of them actually not using her whatsoever?
They haven't used her much, but that's probably because they're building to something which will use her. And I'm like, the fact she was able to do as much martial arts training, and tell me if this makes sense to you, Marcus. Oliver's teenage sister was able to look, in terms of fighting in Series 3 at the start, she was able to look better at martial arts than Oliver was in 5 or 6 years of training, and the Canary was training with the League of Shadows for 5 years.
Yeah.
In like 5 months.
No.
And I understand the reason why they did what they did with how they showed it was, as QJ mentioned, they want to show how much she's improved. So it was probably going to be lesser people she went against, but it still looked really weird to me. But
I think that might be a little bit resolved in the mid-season finale for you, Mo.
Hopefully, but
it might smooth it out a little bit.
Hopefully, but it's unlikely because I'm waiting to see what happens by the end of the season. Because I'm predicting by the end of the season she's going to take Oliver in a fight at least once.
Don't know. Maybe.
But I'm
just waiting for you to catch up so we can actually talk about it.
Yeah, which is fair enough. But yeah, I was going to say this season led into it because she finds out her father was the villain of last season, Malcolm Merlin. Who, I will admit, when he shows up in the city, it was semi-cool. When he... Yeah. And you're breaking up a little bit, Fallen Angel, but I was going to say, I wasn't sure if you agreed or not, but when he showed up in the actual city, when Slade made an army of himself, basically, like all these soldiers with Miracle in him, or Miracle Cure, which gives them superpowers. Basically, as one of them's about to attack Fear, he takes him the fuck out easily, which makes him now still look like a threat. They didn't go into the route other shows have gone into before now, like have him show up just to have Deathstroke beat him up and prove he's better.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like that, because Malcolm Merlin should be better than Deathstroke in this series, in my opinion, or more of a threat in this series, because Deathstroke is a much better character. Deathstroke's a bigger threat overall, but the Dark Archer, or Merlin in general, was always like one of Oliver's closest things. He had him and Clock King and stuff to being like his Lex or his Joker. So he needs his main villain to still be credible in his series. Fallen Angel?
Yes.
I was just getting your thoughts and stuff.
My thoughts. My thoughts are everything.
But let's do.
Yeah.
But I think we discussed this series pretty well. I will say, what are your final thoughts of Series 2?
Season 1 did start off not all that well and definitely built up. Went straight into Season 2, which was really helpful. Season 2 started on a high and finished even higher.
See, I think like I mentioned in the previous video, I think Season 1 started brilliantly from the get-go, because it may have started slow in terms of action and stuff, but it built up story in a way that really established people in a way that kept me hooked from the get-go.
Yeah, unlike Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We won't go there.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 1, available now in bargain bins near you.
Yeah. But it's definitely worth it if you want to catch up and get into Season 2. Season 2 is the shit.
Although, I will say with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the first episode, or the first couple episodes, were brilliant when Joss Whedon was in charge. Then after like the first 1 or 2 episodes when he was in charge, his brother took over. That's when the whole show turned to shit. But yeah, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. Have you watched Season 2?
Sadly.
Sadly?
Yeah, sadly, my brother still my brother watches it, so he still catches up. I don't know how many episodes we're into, but I don't like it. I don't like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. at all, which is horrible because I really wanted to like that show. I was hopeful for it when it first came out, and now I just avoid it.
Yeah, but back to Arrow. Season
After a
2
word
is
from our
really
sponsor.
well done. I think from probably about episode 15, let me have a quick look. Episode 16 onwards, which was Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey, Deathstroke, Man Under the Hood, Seeing Red, Silhouette, Street of Fire, and Unthinkable. All of those episodes were just really well done and really built their story very well. The actors in the show are really good. They play their characters really well. And choose Colton Haynes to play Roy was probably the best choice they've made because he just is Red Arrow, not Arsenal.
Don't you mean Speedy?
Same shit.
He should be Speedy. He should be Speedy, then evolve into Arsenal, and then eventually Red Arrow when he goes on his own more.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, because I watched Young Justice. He was Speedy, then he became Red Arrow, then he went Arsenal, thanks to Lex Luthor.
Yeah, but I was on about when they've done it in the comics. Normally, Kage, a lot of times it tends to go Speedy, then Arsenal, or sometimes Red Arrow, but then Arsenal, then Red Arrow afterwards, which means Because Red Arrow's more of his name when he's off on his own, and he's like
Yeah.
equal to Green Arrow, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But sometimes they
because season 2, when he comes back and he's like fucking grown, because I think it's like 3 years into the future after season 1, Colton Haynes looks like Red Arrow.
Yep. But yeah, they did do a good job with Roy, and I will say, yeah, all the characters on this show, except Brother Blood, were pretty good throughout all of it. But even Brother Blood, while I don't like what they did with him, he did have an interesting episode. The one where we found out his mother was in the mental institution, and he goes in there and makes her seem more insane, and Laurel apologized. And it was great because it showcased Laurel on her own, and how she was still willing to at least investigate stuff and put her nose out and stuff. And that was kind of good. That was great. It showed great character growth for her, and it was kind of sneaky how he was making his mother insane. I just didn't like him.
Actually, there is one more thing. What did you think of Isabel Rochev, one of the main villains of the season?
You mean Summer Glau?
Yes.
As I said in season 1, I meant when someone was like, when we mentioned one of the characters, I can't remember which one was hot, I was like, I'm sorry, but Summer Glau was the hottest character we've had in Arrow. She still is. Oh my god, yes, it's Summer Glau. Me loves me some summertime.
Yep.
And she was a great villain too, because she managed to walk that line of, you knew something was kind of off about her from the beginning, but then when she started to fall, it looked like she was going to date Oliver more. Those thoughts sort of went out of your head, and then you saw her acting unsuspiciously again. Then they went back out. And then at the end, when it was revealed she was a villain, you're like, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Well, I think
hope
we're pretty much done, aren't we?
We are. And I'll say, what would you rate the series?
Season 2, overall, I'd probably give it about 8.
I could agree with that. It's about 7 or an 8. I'd give it. If I had to go with numbers, I'd give it about 7 or an 8. But I on terms of my buy, rent, to avoid that I normally do, I'd give it a buy. It is still worth checking out because Series 1 was great and it is worth following with the series. I do love Arrow. We will be doing Arrow Season 3 and Flash Season 1 in the future, so stick around for that. But it won't be obviously during DCember because, well, yeah, this is just for December, hence the hilarious pun. But thank you for joining us, Marcus Shadow. Did you have anything else you would like to add?
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. Not really. I do want to actually go through and watch the whole thing. Because like I said, I've only watched a few episodes here and there, and I do look forward to seeing what they do with the Black Canary because she looks awesome. So, yeah, if you're a fan of the Green Arrow, check this out because it is a pretty good show from what I've seen of it.
Well, hell, if you're a fan of comics or stuff in general, because like we mentioned, the problem, well, the problem with this show, I will admit, because it's affected 1 and 2, Marcus, is Oliver's a lot darker and more serious than he is in the comics. He's not cocky Oliver that I love. He also faces more people like Deathstroke, Ra's al Ghul, big named characters that aren't his villains, and some of his villains haven't even shown up yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably because they want to establish him before they bring in his villains, because people won't know who his villains are, so they'll be like, who the fuck is this?
It's one, because they wanted to go with the villains that have this name power, and it was also B, they don't want to use superpowers as much in this show, and a load of his villains have superpowers. While they have got powers for Flash, arrows are still more realistic, so they can mesh together.
Yeah. So Arrow Season 3 will be returning January 21st with Episode 10, Left Behind.
Nice.
Remember to watch it, bitches.
Yep. I was your host for this DCember special, Chriz, aka The Mole, and again, thank you to the Fallen Angel and Marcus Shedham.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
buddy.
And make up your own opinion as well. I do want you to do that. Check out Arrow. Available on DVD, Blu-ray, iTunes, available on fucking Netflix, Amazon Prime.
Hulu.
At least in the UK, it's on Amazon
fucking
Prime.
everywhere. It's fucking everywhere. It's a disease.
It is. But yeah, I say in the UK it's on Amazon Prime, because I know Marcus has different content to me on Amazon Prime, so I wasn't sure if it's on there for him to watch, but it is on Amazon Prime. So people can watch it on various different ones. So yeah, you got no excuse. Check it out legally and always support the official release.